And this is everybody's favorite segment. So nice that now it happens live on Thursday nights, and it has its own show and its own podcast, and it is called Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
So Dave Meltzer, man, he talks about WWE, and Dave Bryan's going to pop in here as well. Well, speaking of which, actually, Dave Bryan is always going off about NXT, and here's him complaining some more about Dark State and the Hardys and blah, 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 blah. And Bryan is saying in one side of his mouth that he wants Javon Evans to be on the main roster and pushed like Luthez to the moon, and he's ready for Mania main events and all this. But then out the other side of his mouth, he's like, could anyone explain to me why Dark State beat the Hardys and not Javon and Slater? And it's like, well, they're trying to push Javon and Slater, and the Hardys need to start making people, and they clearly see a lot in these four guys in Dark State, stupid. Bryan, like, he just hates NXT. When you can't point out any good, which I'm not saying he doesn't, like, we're just reacting to clips and whatnot, and I'm sure there's some stuff he points out that's good, but he's so glib and glum about it, and this show's written by AI. Like, just condescending, even though there's more good stuff than bad stuff. He just goes off hard on like the bad stuff, which is fine. You can do that. I do the same thing with AEW, but it's because it's become mostly bad stuff for like 4 years now, 3 years minimum. It's just like mostly bad, right? Whereas like WWE, I'd say for the most part is mostly good. In general, it's a good show. We can tell it's just because there's a lot of fans. No, then why did WCW come in and become the better show for a long time? People were watching because it was good. AEW was doing better than NXT. It's not. We got to stop all this coke. But yeah, the thing is that Bryan just, it seems faux. It doesn't seem real when he's crying about NXT. I just don't believe it. Let's
Dark State gets the win. It was total chaos. I was exhausted.
As much as I enjoyed this match, anybody can explain.
Here's the thing, and he's like, as much as I enjoyed this match, it was the worst match on that show. And I'm not saying, well, it was still the worst, but I still enjoyed it. Everything's subjective. I'm not trying to shun him, but it just shows you the stuff. It's like, I almost don't even buy what the he's saying. It's almost like you're just inventing a thing. It would be like, okay, I loved the Samoa Joe Hangman Halloween segment on Dynamite. I loved how Hangman was dressed as Shivani. It's a little cheesy, but like, bro, Rick Steiner talked to a Chucky doll. Like, what are we going to go tell Rick Steiner he's cheesy, But, I like that segment there with Hangman, right? And if you're to nitpick it, it's like, okay, well, I mean, Hobbs and Shibata got kicked in the balls and washed, and he just took out their whole crew. So why should I? But it's like, well, he kicked them both in the balls, and they both went down, and then he hit the buckshot and everything. It's like, it would be like if I got outraged. Like, overall, I liked it. I'm not going to be outraged over okay, well, Hobbs and Shibata both, like, they just shouldn't have been in the ring. They should have been tied up with something else, or like maybe they could have did two Shivanis or something. The way they pulled it off was really was really good rather. But yeah, I just don't buy into his, like, he's just finding something to get mad about this match, because it's like, dude, if you really enjoyed this match, I thought it was the worst match on this show on Halloween Havoc, but you really enjoyed it, then why would this even be a thought, especially when Bryan cries that Javon Evans should be main eventing Manias and push to the moon and be a world champion, and said, oh, he's like Luthez at 21 years old was pushed to he should be the same thing. So that's why Dark State beats the Hardys, who shouldn't be pushed to the moon, instead of Javon Evans, who they got a big win and whatever. You know what I mean? It just seems faux from Bryan.
Why Dark State beat the Hardys for the NXT tag team titles and not Javon.
And if he's saying, why didn't Javon and Slater beat the Hardys for the tag titles? Because they're building it up. They're going to do heels versus baby faces, like real heroes versus villains, right? Like pro wrestling should be. And they're going to have Slater and Javon beat Dark State, who are also invading TNA, Bryan. I know you don't study the fucking business. I'm an uber sicko TNA hole, and I know that it's like, I just keep up with all this shit. But Bryan, it's just pretty simple. There's a TNA NXT invasion. Dark State is on both shows. But the Hardys are on both shows. Right, dude. But the point is that they don't want to take these other belts from them and shit. Okay, this was for the NXT titles. So now you have Javon and Slater beat Dark State, the heels, for the NXT titles, and then the Hardys can keep going on with the TNA tag titles and fucking helping them get with their TV deal and all that shit. Like, it's just pretty simple. Like, pro wrestling is entertainment and all that shit, and it is fan service, but it's also a business. Now, I know those 50% off sales aren't fucking helping you, bud, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty like clear to see why they did it. They're developing these guys, and they're gonna build to that. But Dark State's on both shows, so give them a set of the belts again, because they're gonna all break off, and eventually we're gonna see Dark State as like the 4 pillars of NXT. Not really, but these guys are eventually gonna all break up too, and I could see them being individuals in NXT themselves. And once they call a bunch of guys up, they're trying to establish them and get them some cred and get them some EXP as well. I just don't. It's so simple to see why they did this,
or why the fucking butt guy, like this Dark State, are 2-time NXT Tag Team Champions.
right? It's a developmental territory.
Vaughn has never won any championship of any sort at NXT. And
This is so retarded, dude. I can't stand when people do this. Brian, because not everyone's going to have every belt in the world. Javon Evans is getting over. Picture this. No belts. The belts elevate Dark State. They don't do anything for Javon. He's over as fuck as it is. And he's the underdog. His chase is better than the capture. And he will get it one day. He's 21. They want to keep him in the company for 20 more years, Brian. Some people go and win every belt like Ethan Page. Some guys, they don't do that, and they take a different road, and the journey's sweet, and you're just looking for a reason. Hey, because, Brian, it's a fake show, and not every character is the same. Stupid.
Dummy, yeah.
Fucking dumb asshole.
including the fucking Heritage Cup, which is at the bottom of a lake. Anyone can explain either of these things to me?
The Heritage Cup, I don't think existed when Javon started. Like, I think they already got rid of that fucking thing when.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah, I just explained it, but you won't listen. You just blocked me like about a week ago. About a week ago. Fuck with us and then we tweaking ho. No, but yeah, dude, you blocked me like a week or two ago. Otherwise, you'd be seeing this shit, this hot fire I'm spitting right now. I'm schmurdering you. That's Bobby Schmurder, right? I'm schmurdering you. Shmoney dancing on you, dude.
And then Leon and Javon are disgusted backstage.
Yeah.
They want to go after Dark State for the tag titles.
Yeah, no
And
shit.
At first, I was mad, but then it was like,
Why? Why would you be mad
oh,
about
fucking,
that?
of course, that's what they're going to do.
Of course, that's what they're
Because,
going to
like,
do. Because
what would get Leon and Javon more over? Beating the Hardy.
Beating the Hardys. Leon Slater just beat one of the fucking Hardys, dude. Did he not? Didn't he just beat a Hardy boy not that fucking long ago? Didn't he just take on Jeff or Matt or both of them one-on-one? He might even took them both out one-on-one recently. And he's like, what's going to get them more over so they can't just fight the Hardys too and then become NXT TNA double champs like the Hardys are? They can't do that, and it can't be long-term booking. Brian just wants it all right now. Brian's an AEW sicko. Just give it all to me right now. No waiting, no building. No, he's just tired of it. Dude, if you're this burnt out and you don't want to watch the weekly wrestling show, then just stop watching the shit. Stop watching all of this shit if you're this burnt by it. Like, it doesn't even make sense what you're saying. They're telling a long-term story. Why is it at this? Because it's not that thing. Because it doesn't make sense right now.
For the NXT tag team titles or beating Dark State?
Well,
the answer is the Hardys.
Yeah.
So we can't do that.
So we can't do that, even though we've gotten Leon Slater massively over with the TNA audience, and he's the current X Division champion, and he already beat Matt and Jeff Hardy. I'm pretty sure he beat them both one-on-one each. Am I wrong about that? Am I wrong about that? I'm pretty goddamn sure he beat at least one of the Hardys, but it's like, of course we can't do that. Yeah, because Oba Femi's not over. Stephanie Vaquer didn't get over. Ricky Saints and Ethan Page aren't fucking over. Trick Williams isn't over. None of these people are over, right? They don't do. So, of course, we can't do that. Where have you ever said that about AEW? You lying prick. He doesn't believe what he's saying right now because it's just phony. If this is his interpretation, he's mentally retarded. It's just that simple. I don't mean it offensively. It's just the truth, right? It's just like, I got ADHD or some shit. I don't know. I'm fucking crazy and autistic in ways, right? You just got to admit it, dude. You're fucking literally like, you're just either lying or you're just fucking insane. If this is your interpretation of shit, bro, like, I'm sorry. It's not even like a subjective thing. He's like, I loved this, which, like, even I'm like, that match sucked. He's like, I fucking love this, but here's a bunch of fantasy mark booking we can't do because we're just not doing it yet when I want it right now at Halloween Havoc between the teams called Dark State and the Hardys. And then we have another tag match because we're trying to establish Slater and Javon, their moves that they're going to do together. And we're trying to get them reps together in the ring before we just throw them as a fucking tag team at the Hardys in their second fucking match, because we actually make people win matches before they get title shots and shit. Holy fuck. Imagine that, dude. Imagine that. Again, Bryan always just pissing everyone off. Let's just be honest about it. So in other WWE news from Dave and Bryan, Trying Bryan, here is Seth Rollins. Again, they're just trying to beat this over everybody's head with this whole, like, has Seth Rollins' injury made people question the legitimacy of Soul's injury and other injuries, and there's no trust in WWE and nobody trusts each other? And they're just lying about this shit blatantly. Like, no, man, it's all good. I know you guys are crying about it.
Emotional damage.
People just get pile drivered on chairs. Moxley eats exploding boots and gets his arm chopped off and fucking spikes in the back and shit like this and lit on fire and body bagged and drowned in fish tanks. And then he fucking shows up without even a bandage on his head, wrestling full force the next Wednesday and shit 2 days later. I know you guys are used to that and you don't understand what selling is and stuff. They worked a fucking shoot injury angle. They're not going to do it all the time. And what it is you guys are dumb smarks like the rest of us. And we're just all, when we talk about it, could be a work, it could be a shoot. That's the fun they've created again for fans. If any fucking fan comes to you and is like, dumbass, it's clearly a fucking work, fuck that person, because that's not what this is about. It's not about proving the works and shoots. You got worked by this work injury when they've worked injuries. Yeah, bro, we're trying to have fun. That's like, I want to be worked. That's part of pro wrestling. Like, I don't, people are so fucking lame these days. So I get it. People have to drudge through that shit when you're just trying to mark out and, hey, maybe it is a fucking Inuna. Dave is trying to say, like, there's doom and gloom within instead of addressing the real issue like I just did. He's creating this culture of, like, it's doom and gloom and, oh, they shouldn't work injuries. Like, it's bad for working people. You can't work the boys. The boys have always been worked. The boys have got worked more than fucking anyone in the fucking business, okay? Holy shit. So, again, if Dave studied and learned, he'd understand. And the boys will fucking tell you that. But here we go. I'm just a dumb fuck. What do I know? But here we go. Here's him and Bryan breaking down, like, Soul's injury might be a work, and there's distrust because of Seth's injury.
Soul's got a big brace on her leg and a crutch. I'm not cleared to defend the North American title. Ava then says, you don't have to do this. And by the way, what about your speed title? Like, that's your concern right now, Ava? And then Soul just says, we'll worry about that one later. And at that point, I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I'm with Trying Bryan. I'm with you, buddy. I don't like that. It's just like, well, this other belt, you're good. Even if they did something like, well, until the next tournament's announced, like, if you're not ready to go by the next tournament's finals, your slated match, you have until then. Otherwise, they should have did something like that. Maybe they could. Some people get pissed too because I'll, like, review SmackDown, but, like, obviously, dude, you're watching a 3-hour show. You get up to take a piss. You're watching a 2-hour show or whatever. I missed Dragunov said fucking he's taking on the open challenges. Sorry, guys. And I don't like that either still. Whether I saw it live or not, I don't like that he's like, I'll do the open challenges, whatever. That's another breakdown for another time. But I'm with Bryan on this. Let's continue.
Injury.
I don't either.
I'm very skeptical after this segment.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
skeptical as to whether she can go is what they're saying. And now Dave, so Bryan is just having See, trying Brian. I give people too much the benefit of the doubt, I think, but I'm too nice. No, after I just went off so hard. But Brian is at least, he's doing the fan marking out thing. Here's David.
Is that she got it from the figure 8, right?
Well, no, there was a moonsault off the post to the floor, and she landed weird, and that was supposedly where it happened. There was a spot in the match where she supposedly injured her knee, but watching this whole segment here, the way they did it, the way everybody responded to everything, it was just, I don't know, man. Maybe it'll turn out she's hurt, and maybe she tweaked it and she's gonna be fine. She doesn't need.
But they just overplayed it like they did with Jacob Fatu, and I'll get down with Brian. See, I'm marking out with him here. I'll get down with him on this because I legit thought that she was gonna drop the crutch or glom fucking Zarya with the clutch, and we're gonna get a Soul heel turn instead of a Zarya one because everyone expects the Zarya one.
Surgery or anything, and she'll just be out for a few weeks. Maybe she's got a serious injury. I don't know, but I watched this segment and I didn't buy it.
I wasn't that convinced either. It felt way too storyline. But it's one of those things. I have not had anyone confirm the injury to me, but I have had nobody not confirm it. So it also when that happens, that's the same thing that happened with Rollins. Although I did have people not confirm it, but
exactly. See, so that it's not the same thing. That he's such a dumbass. I love it.
Learn Meltzer Inferno.
Oh, I love it. So then it's not the same. He just describes a thing and then he just explains how this is different than that thing. Well, that one I did have people confirm not, and no one confirmed not to this one. So actually I did have people confirm not before, but because I want to pretend like I was right about that story, Brian.
Well, after SmackDown on WWE.com, I don't know if it's still up there, but the WWE.com report claimed that she was hurt. Mm-hmm. And they don't usually do that when someone's actually hurt.
Fuck, what do you guys know? And then again, just the headline has Seth Rollins'
Soul's got a big
storyline injury, made people question Sol Ruka's injury. And just again saying that there's mistrust and stuff like that we heard before in the other clip. He's just painting this narrative like no one knows what's even going on there. Meanwhile, we know that Tony Khan book shows last minute and shit like that. So Dave Meltzer here, he gives his take on the Seth Rollins stuff.
I mean, I think,
and so he's saying how Seth Rollins was the MVP of Raw, and how WWE's lacking depth because of the Seth Rollins injury. Bro, Seth Rollins had 2 A players playing his backup dancers. The roster's so bloated. There's way too much depth in all these rosters as of late. So here's Dave's brain dead take.
I mean, Seth was the MVP of Raw.
I just disagree, man. I think everybody was hating on him. He was in the most shit, and there was tons of heat on him, and he was in the through line. He's sort of like him and the bronze are the key thing. But I think people are loving the Braun shit more now that Rollins is kind of out of the picture. And I would say guys like CM Punk and Dom and Penta and shit have really stepped up as MVPs of Raw. I mean, Penta's going out there having bangers every fucking week. If he was doing that in AEW on every Dynamite, Dave would be licking his balls.
I mean, I think that sometimes I think that people took him for granted, but then when he was gone, it's kind of like, oh my God, he's been carrying this show because Punk's not there every week. Roman's not there much, right? Jey Uso's really good for a ring entrance, but he ain't carrying the show. I mean, Seth Rollins is the guy carrying the show, and then those 2 guys are there to be, Lex Luger to Ric Flair, right? Where they're our future, and they're going to be standing there watching how he does it. And then on the other side.
So on Raw, as far as Raw is concerned, Seth isn't there. Okay, so who is there? So there's not people who can wrestle. There's not bodies who can put all he was doing was talking. And I'm not saying it was bad, but people were hating on the fucking talking, and he garnered a shitload of heat from the talking. I'm not even hating. A lot of people are like, the Judgment Day fucking stinks. And I'm like, well, they're in every segment. And so that's undeniable with Seth. And I did kind of like when they added Becky and they all started wearing black and shit. It was starting to get over. Then he gets hurt. It's unfortunate. On the SmackDown side, I would say they have so many fucking people especially in that tag division. It's like, bro, it's time to fucking split the profits up and give a bit more depth, especially with fucking Jacob not being around lately. But apparently he's going to come back soon. But he's been missed. I think Jacob's been missed on SmackDown the most.
You know, it's worse. Jacob gets hurt, and he's been, he hasn't been around a lot, but it's like they had nobody for Cody. Like, I think that they didn't want to go with Solo. They protected Tala Tonga, but obviously, I don't think they're anywhere near ready for him in a pay-per-view main event. I mean, maybe they should go. So you go with old reliable.
Yeah.
Drew
Does
McIntyre.
anybody else like? Here's the thing: we'll give Dave like a based flute for this one because he's actually being reasonable. I just wish he would cover the ratings like this, where you're just like talking reasonably and just saying actual shit. And notice he's not like except Batman as much, because he's actually speaking factual. That's what I think. But yeah, I'll give him a based flute, but Tala, I feel like they've kind of fucked up them doing the whole like GOD's face paint. Not that they fucked it up, it can't ever be recovered, but that guy's massive. Like, they should have had him they should have just booked him like when Big Show came back on SmackDown and he had kind of long hair. Or like, remember when he was on a rampage and he like chokeslammed GM Kurt Angle off the thing? They should have had Tala like snap and him be the one to take out or maybe not Jacob if they're trying to get him away from the Floodline. But you know what I mean? It's just, he's sort of like, again, he gets in the ring. You're like, oh, he's big, but we've seen wrestlers like trick him over the top rope easily and sort of like, and of course the big guy, you want to outspeed and out athlete and outthink them and outmaneuver them and outsmart them, etc. But at the same time, it's like they could have done more and even gotten him in a title match. But then again, you want to like strap him up. Like Great Khali got strapped up. The Giant in WCW, he got strapped up right away. So I don't know if WWE's like waiting till he's ready for a world title, but Tala taking on Rhodes or something. I mean, if Rhodes wasn't busy with movies and shit, yeah, I'm with Dave. Like that they could go there still. It's not like it's ruined, but I just think like they could have done more with Tala to really make him like a force on SmackDown. And especially with Jacob being gone, it kind of seemed like the GODs were dormant for a bit. Well, there's your chance to push Solo again. And it's not Solo's fault that he was really coming into his own when Jacob just got fucking white hot over.
They're anywhere near ready for him in a pay-per-view main event. I mean, maybe they should go.
They could just do it.
You go with old
with Dave on
Drew
that
McIntyre.
one.
But it's like he's the only one. I mean, that really surprised me when they announced Cody and Drew, because that was supposed to be Survivor Series. And even then, it's like Cody literally just pinned Drew on a pay-per-view without a controversial ending. I mean, he just pinned him. And now it's like right back to the same feud. And
yeah, they want to have a long program.
Even know where he goes after this unless it's Lesnar, which from the promos and everything, I think they're going in that direction.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. Hey, what do you guys think? Rhodes and Lesnar at fucking Mania? Interesting. Let me know what you guys
Seth
think.
was the MVP.
But yeah, I guess a little bit of base Meltzer. Like when he started speculating, he started doing the it's like because he's just speculating on shit. But when he's just spitting and being a fan, he's actually like intelligible. I wish Dave would do more of that, and I wish he would talk about like the history of wrestling and shit a little bit more. And just speaking about it like matter of factly, not his opinion of whatever. Like when he went on that fucking news thing and he just starts spurging out about like, well, they lied about the attendance and shit. And the girl's sitting there like, I just want to mark out about Hogan, dude. So here's Brian and Dave. There are some tropes WWE can't stop using, such as how they book three-way matches. Boy, is that like the stupidest thing in the world, Brian. And it's funny because Tony Khan, all he does is fucking book he just says $400,000 on the line. It's great. And then fucking does a three-way and Dave has nothing to say about it. But building depth to this division and having Dom face people one-on-one, which then leads to a three-way conflict. I mean, that's the way you do it. Again, WWE can't stop using these tropes that they use. Dude, there's tropes in everything. There's tropes in movies, right? We covered this earlier. I'm not going to reiterate it, but the fact he would call this out when they've done a great job. I think the Intercontinental title division's awesome. You have El Grande looming, and the way that they've built to this, I think, has been solid, and it's been like good television on Raw. And Miro and Dom, like Dom's super over. Dave's gonna agree with that in just a moment. And you know, Rusev is like a tweener, and then you have Penta, who's like the clear baby face, and he's having bangers every fucking week. So I just think for him to criticize this and not call out, well, $500,000, here's 4 of our women's teams and go. How the fuck do you give that shit like 3 3/4 stars, but then you're trashing the booking of this? It's just foolishness from Dave.
Then we've got Saturday night's main event. 3-way for the Intercontinental title, Dominic Mysterio, Penta, and Rusev. The same angle we've seen it 10,000 times in wrestling.
Okay, at least they didn't exactly. That's what all art is. You've seen the same movie 10,000 times too. It's just different actors, different coat of paint, different way of telling it. Avatar's Pocahontas, right? But people lost their minds over Avatar. Like, we fucking see this time and time again. It's Simpsons did it. WWE's done everything. Wrestling's already been done, but they're just acting like it's shit. It's not shit. What's better? Tony Khan just saying, here's a new belt. Here's a battle royal for a triple threat. Here's a fucking 500 grand for a triple threat. Number 1 contender match. Here's someone who wins every week on our show, and 2 people from Ring of Honor who only are on Dynamite when they lose. Who's going to win? Right? Like, that's what Tony goes to all the time. Never hear the same criticism.
History where 2 guys are having a number 1 contenders match. Dominic paid off Los Americanos to ruin the match, thinking it would result in no number 1 contender. And of course, it led to a 3-way.
Boy, is that like the stupidest thing in the world?
Stupider than a fucking, more stupid than a fucking fish tank drowning, or like a random needle through a cheek. It's like, I don't know, man. They just built to a triple threat. Dom has been dip, diving, dodging, ducking everybody. El Grande is aligning with Dom. People have gotten key wins to put them in positions to get a title shot. Dom keeps weaseling his way out, and people just want him to have a fair shake. There'll be no DQ in this triple threat, which I think is kind of dumb. Also, I want to see a good old 3-way dance where it's like elimination style. You don't see many of those. ECW used to do that.
Always, the angle always goes exactly the same. And
the only thing that really irritated me about it is, okay, Dominic's an idiot. That's fine. He's a heel. But we had Wade Barrett, the announcer, when this match ended. He's like, oh, man, we're just not going to have a match. There's no number 1 contender. Yeah. And I was like, Wade, come on, brother. Like,
bro, I just can't stand. Yeah, so part of the show, the heel announcer goes, we just can't have, there's no number 1 contender, Cole. The match is off the table. Dom wins again. Yeah, the heel commentator says, oh, there's no number 1 contender. And I'm like, come on, brother. It's not a shoot, you fucking idiot. These guys, this is stupid. No, it's not really stupid. It's just like it's just kind of okay. It's just an easy way to get to it. It's just kind of lazy. It's kind of a trope. Like you guys said, okay, not everything's going to be fucking Breaking Bad, final season. What was the final season? 6, 7. Not everything's going to be like the greatest shit you've ever seen all the time, but they do need a big match with popular characters for Saturday night's main event. And what's stupid is fucking expecting Wade Barrett to in kayfabe like, oh, well, we know it'll be a triple threat. We know. We've seen it a million times, Cole. Let me just spoil the announcement before they announce it, because that's good marketing. Oh, you don't think people don't know? Yeah, some people don't know. Kids watch the show. Some people, it's new to them. Some people just became wrestling fans again after the first time in a long time. Some people are just new wrestling fans because of characters like Dirty Dom and Penta and shit. We see that in the ticket sales that have doubled, and they're selling out everywhere they go. And the ratings are maintaining. Like, fuck, man.
Number 1 contender.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, come on, brother. Like, have a little credibility.
I know.
The only guy in the world that thinks this is not going to be a 3-way.
The only guy in the world. He doesn't literally, like, Brian, this is what I mean. It's just disingenuous. This isn't even real criticisms. It's not even real.
Brian.
It's not even real.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they've only done this 50 times.
So then Hangman was lip syncing over Tony Schiavone. So Schiavone was in on a beer bottle attack on Samoa Joe. You guys won't even say that. And even I don't, because it's like, well, it's wrestling. It's like, that was the bit. It was funny. It was actually a good spot. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about, man? This is crazy.
It always ends up the same.
It's kayfabe. We know it's a work. He's the heel.
Yeah. I mean, that's how they set up 3-ways constantly.
Well, you'd think the commentary would know. Yeah, but he's healing. His whole thing is like, well, no number one contender, so Dom escapes with the title, Cole.
And then we've got Saturday.
Do you not like, whoa, dude, we're in fucking wacky land when they do shit like this. So Brian had this to say that Lyra and Alexa nearly had a wardrobe malfunction on Raw. Most people didn't even notice. I think most people noticed. It was clipped like right away.
Lyra makes a hot tag, and she hits the ring. She's running wild, and she grabs Alexa Bliss, and she gives her the Nightwing. But as she lifts her up onto her shoulder behind her back, somehow her hair gets tangled in Alexa's top. And I don't have any idea how it happened. But she hits this Nightwing, which is like a Michinoku driver, and you just see her head get yanked forward because she's connected to Alexa's top. And so she hits the move, but she doesn't immediately make a cover because she's like trying to get her hair out. And then, the ref's like waiting. So she hooks the leg. The ref counts 2. Alexa kicks out, and they're still trapped. And so Lyra's like, she's yanking on her hair, and she's talking to Alexa, and they're talking to each other. And you just see the camera pan away to the side, and the camera goes over to Charlotte. And you can see Charlotte looking over like, what the heck is going on here? And so Alexa has a double top. And so she literally unzips the first top. She takes it off. She has the other top underneath. That
did she unzip it and shit? She just ripped her fucking, she wears like a cut up shirt and then it's like tied on the back. So he's like speaking like it's a fucking zip up hoodie she's wearing, bro. She just like, the shirt got tied around her hair and she just like slipped out of the thing and she has her gear underneath.
Doesn't untangle Lyra. So they go back and you can see Lyra rolling out of the ring. She's rolling out of the ring with a vest connected to her head. So she rolls out to the ground. You can see people running over, like trying to untangle her from this deal. And like all of this is happening in the middle of the match. And like if you look on the chat here, like,
does Alexa wear like a vest now? Holy shit.
Most people didn't even
Vecna's vest.
But notice it. So it was actually, they did an incredible job solving this problem.
I just thought she would like tie her shirt around her top or whatever.
Live in the middle of this match.
Yeah, so I don't know. They solved it pretty quickly. I mean, I don't know why the Observer says like most people didn't even notice it in quotes, unless Brian just rattled that off there. But I think everyone noticed it. Like you just broke it down play by play what everybody saw on Raw. So. But here's some more trying, crying, lying, frying, flying Brian here. Okay, and he says, is it time for Punk to turn heel? And let's hear his fantasy mark booking.
At the end of the day, I watched this and I thought, I wonder if CM Punk is turning heel this weekend. Because everyone's thinking it's going to be Jimmy, or it's going to be Jay, or we had that whole feud and LA Knight was fighting with everybody. And the one guy who hasn't teased it is CM Punk. So
he could do it.
I could see him turning heel and winning that title.
He could do it. We just had John Cena do that, though.
Yeah, but it sucked.
But it sucked. It sucked. They ended the heel run because it sucked. It just overall sucked. Holy fuck, dude.
It early.
I know. That would almost be like, because Punk is like a real big draw right now as a or at least big reaction.
He's a real draw right now. He's a big notice when Dave bullshits, he just can't even speak. He's except not a big draw. What are you talking about, bro? Heel babyface. Punk gets reactions. Punk's a draw.
Yeah, but it sucked, and they had to end it early.
I know. That would almost be like, because Punk is like a real big draw right now as a or at least big reaction. What big draw, I mean, it's like, I don't know. You know, like I think he'll be better as a heel than Cena was.
Well, you got to remember when he first went to
Like,
AEW years ago.
It's like, what about Seth? Like, why are we just comparing it to Cena? Because they're two legends. Okay, Punk's there week in and week out. So it's like just a different thing than Cena was. Even it's not. It's like sort of incomparable in a way.
You know, he was teasing that day's gonna come when I'm going heel.
Oh yeah, he basically outright said.
And he's, I'm sure, been waiting for years and years and years and years. And there will come a time where no matter what he does, he ain't gonna get booed. So it's almost like if you're gonna do it, sooner the better.
I just think you can't tease LA Knight and the Usos all turning and then just like, well,
Eddie.
nope, it's Punk turning. I just don't think that would work very well for them personally. But Dave Meltzer has this to say about Dominic Mysterio. Now, we know how much he loves CMLL, right? But Dave might convert to AAA again. Let's give him a bass flute. We give Dave his due and he deserves it, right? Now, I don't think that maybe making a Stone Cold comparison is fair in like any generation. It's like comparing some shit to Hulk Hogan, or it's like, how do you really compare it, right? Stone Cold was a megastar, Cena was a megastar, Hulk was a megastar. You could toss any of them up who was bigger. I think Hulk Hogan maybe is the most mainstream of them all. Maybe John Cena's working his way. I don't know. Stone Cold was huge. He was also huge when The Rock was huge, though, and shit. So, and the NWO was fucking huge around the same time and stuff. So, you know, it's hard to like compare it to any other thing. But Dom is in his own lane for sure right now, and even Dave has to acknowledge that shit. So let's.
All right, we also got Heroes Immortales, AAA.
Dominic Mysterio is so over. It's like incredible how over he is there. I mean, I know it, but when he comes out, I mean, it's like, it's so different, you know, that the crowd at the AAA show, because, you know, they had a sellout and they were loud. They were very loud. But like Dominic comes out and it's just like, I mean, it's like, you know, like Stone Cold or.
I just think that's too high of a. It's all good. Everyone has their
level.
opinions.
I mean, it's like, it's unbelievable how.
But it is crazy. Dom is just insane over. And then in like on Raw, yes, he gets cheers and shit, but people boo the fuck out of him still. And it's just incredible to see Eddie's son doing such great.
Well, I mean, probably more like a Mystico or
see,
something.
and then Mystico, Brian.
You know, he comes out, he wears his uncle's mask, or his great uncle, and then he, you know, takes it off. And so he's this super giant babyface. He wrestled Dragon Lee. Grande Americano comes in. Grande's a heel, and you know, works as the heel, total babyface to the crowd. Vikingo and Dragon Lee work as total babyfaces. They're the heels to the crowd, and Dominic is like the biggest babyface of them all, and he works exactly like.
Do you know who usurps Dom though? If he were to come out, and maybe not for a longer period of time, but in that fucking moment, Alberto. That's the only guy. He's like, they put Alberto in AAA. To AAA fans, it's like the CM Punk thing. They're just chanting for Alberto every show, and he is backstage. That's the fucking thing, right? But with Punk, he was like out of the company entirely. With Alberto, they like know he's there, and every show they're chanting for Alberto. That's the only guy. That's like almost the match to make is fucking Alberto Dom eventually. But I think we'll see Dom and Rey Mysterio throw down for that AAA Mega Grand Campeon, right? Like, come on, man. Rey Mysterio still got a bit of mileage in him, and I would love to see like a mask versus hair, and then Dom retire his dad by taking his mask and shit. I think that'd be gangster, but who knows if they take it to that limit. But yeah, dude, maybe Dave is cheating on CMLL a little bit, Dave. Huh? You cheating on CMLL a little bit, buddy?
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
Works in the United States as far as that slimy heel thing. And it just doesn't matter because those people just love Dominic.
Those people, Brian. Whoa, Dave. Come on, dude. Those people. You know those people. They drink Cuervo, Brian.
And Grande
Oh, man. So now we have Dave talking about AEW. So let's sort of compare him talking about, we just heard him talking about WWE, mostly negative, putting some shit over, fantasy mark booking a little bit, having a couple sensible takes, not the most egregious shit ever. I think his arguments and Twitter denial was the most egregious offensive shit thus far. But let's compare that. Let's contrast that with how he talks about AEW, how Bryan criticizes AEW and those things. And then we can do whataboutisms with WWE here. So Dave has this to say and Bryan have this to say. This is the headline here from Observer. It was a tough week for ratings, even with the competition of all those NBA games. I'm not shocked, but it's not a good number. So damn, again, Dave being fucking based a little bit. Hopefully, let's listen to this thing, but like, damn, that might be a record for base take Dave flutes, man.
I do have the
Base Meltzer
ratings.
Okay.
From WrestleNomics, 477,000.08.
So look at this. Q4 average estimated tickets distributed. Max simulcast, and then they put a star next to that. Cable primetime media rank year over year in Q3. So just showing their fucking decline. At least the Observer's being honest about that much. And again, they have to start being this way because it's all about to come out. So Dave's just trying to get ahead of shit now. But he still puts the spin on it with his tweets and stuff like that to the surface level goobers.
Yeah. Well, it's tough competition, but that's obviously, it's a new normal, but that's still under any circumstances. Even with the competition of all those NBA games, I'm not shocked, but it's not a good number. I don't think.
Thank God,
I mean, NXT was 525 and 0.07. So, and those two are whatever. I mean, like NXT usually has more viewers, obviously.
But wasn't NXT on like the opening day? So isn't that usually more than like day 2 of fucking? And I get it. It's like, well, some people are just starting their seasons and stuff, but still, it's just like, at least Dave, at least he said he's about to make excuses, or he is trying to a little bit. He's trying to worm around and wriggle, but at least he fucking did say, well, it just shouldn't matter. It's the norm. Thank you, dude. Thank you for once.
Based on only TV numbers. I mean, obviously,
the Max numbers.
Dynamite's going to have way, way, way more viewers.
Way more if you include Max. Okay, never mind. You're a lying cuck. Fuck you.
Dummy. Yeah.
Oh my God. You just have
The
to
best
go.
guys, Tony Khan.
Way more, Bryan. Shit.
Everyone.
Then everyone. Then everybody else.
NXT's TV, obviously is in a lot more homes than TNT.
The excuse.
And 18 to 49, it's usually pretty close. NXT had, the opening night NBA game, which did a giant number. So, yeah, I mean, this is a tough week.
Oh man, fucking Dave, man. But then does he say? I wonder if he points out if like SmackDown did well and shit compare, or like he's not noting how people predicted NXT would do worse than they did as well.
I do have.
So Dave Meltzer, he talks about a little bit of AEW WWE crossover. I actually want to start with this clip. All good. But he talks about like Phoenix and Penta leaving AEW and going to WWE and how it's the wrong move. And he's more confident that that was the wrong move.
I thought that when they left, that Penta probably would do better in WWE and that Phoenix would not do better. And I thought that, like, it probably was the right move if those two, I mean, they're brothers and they want to be, and they're close and everything. But I thought like it was like Penta go, seriously, you're better off in WWE. But
why? When did you say that?
Don't push to go together. And Phoenix was
why? Why would you not push to go together? Dave's just talking out of his ass. He never said that.
Gung ho, and they're brothers and everything. But I thought that Phoenix was making
Phoenix
the
was
wrong
gung
move.
ho.
Now, I think that
no. See, this is Dave simping for Tony McCann. Fuck that shit, Dave. So no, Penta go. You didn't stir the pot. You didn't ruffle feathers. You didn't talk shit to Tony Khan. You didn't fucking. it didn't get public. You aren't the one who talked to Dr. Chris Featherstone or whatever the fuck that guy who works with Vince Russo is. You're not the one who talked to that guy and told the story. So Penta, you go, all's good, you're great, but Phoenix, you should have stayed. Aren't you stupid? Because the best
guy is
guy,
Tony Khan.
you pissed him off because you went to the fuck you, Dave.
It's, more and more clear that he did. I'm Dragon Lee as well. I think I'm not as sure with Dragon Lee because, it's like Dragon Lee, if he was in AEW, he would be in the LFI.
Exactly, doing nothing on ROH as a backup dancer to Sammy Guevara. In WWE, he's been on maternity leave, so I don't get why you're like, even Dragon Lee? He's in AAA now, feuding with fucking Dominic and El Grande and in a four-way with El Vikingo, right? And it's like the hottest shit in AAA, bro. Dave, you're melting. You're melting.
Because those are his brothers. He'd be in that group. And that group is just kind of there, just kind of like Dragon Lee in the LWO is just kind of there. So they're, sometimes I'll go like.
See, even in the LWO anymore?
Doing compared to Dragon Lee, because they're similar talents. But, Bandito does have more charisma of the two. But I think that I'm not as sure about Dragon Lee. I think that
buries him for Bandito. See, this is why Bandito gets the fucking 5 stars, Brian.
Dragon Lee is kind of an even one. You can it's still debatable. The
just
jury's
loves
not out.
Bandito.
Ray Phoenix from day one, I expected this, and I think that has come true. That was he going to get a big push in AEW? No, but he would be. The difference is that he would be in hellacious matches in AEW. And he's really not in WWE.
He is, bro. He's wrestling. He wrestles every other SmackDown at least, and he just has crazy ass tag matches with different partners and shit. He'd be in hellacious matches, bro. He's done that on the indies forever. You don't know about Ray Phoenix? Maybe he wants to chill and work WWE style a bit. You ever think of that, man? It's crazy. My prediction was wrong where I thought Phoenix was going to get over Penta style. And I didn't think WWE Universe would connect with the fucking Penta the way they have. I thought they'd be more into Ray Phoenix, but I was wrong about that. But as far as either of them being successful in WWE, I don't know if anyone really questioned Penta. Penta, bro, he should have been looming around the AEW world title. If you really want to break it down, he's a world champion everywhere he's gone. I just think they were both tragically misused in AEW. There was a bit there in the tag division when they were cooking. They had a really good cage match and a little story there with Jurassic Express and shit. But again, it was sort of two teams everyone's cheering for. The Death Triangle with Pac. It's a fucking, I'm sorry, it's a bad name, and that was just shit. No, you know what I mean? Fucking no one needed to see that. I don't care if they're down with Pac or not. It's just, I don't think that was the way to push those guys either. But I guess everybody has their own opinions. Speaking of opinions, we covered this. Dave Meltzer says FTR and the Bucks are the greatest tag team of the last 20 years. Maybe I'm trying to think over the last 20 years, what teams. I mean, there's been Motor City. They weren't really in WWE. Some people might rate teams like Rated RKO is the best tag team ever, but my only problem with that, me personally, I kind of don't agree with that because, again, we broke it down. Tag team wrestling wasn't that prominent for a long time in WWE, and it was just them throwing single stars together to then team with other single stars. And I get it, DX was around, so maybe you could rate Triple H and HBK as one of the greatest tag teams ever. But what tag matches of theirs are you do you really fondly remember? So I don't know. You could make the argument that I don't know about the last 20 fucking years. That's a lot of time that you'd have to think about. But I would say some of the most influential and prominent tag teams over the last 20 years, 15 years, all are teams that were mostly outside of WWE. For sure, you kind of had to look to TNA for women's wrestling and tag wrestling and really insane X Division, cruiserweight shit if you were into that. You kind of had to look elsewhere for that into Ring of Honor and stuff. So either way, That's his opinion. AEW pay-per-views always deliver, is what the Observer says. You're going to get your $50 worth based on just the fact that you're going to get incredible wrestling, Brian. So, again, what, the wrestling moves? I mean, to me, Wrestle Dream was better than All Out. I enjoyed some of these matches way better than All Out. I think incredible wrestling, though, is, again, it's like, well, you could say that fucking Rhodes and Rollins and that last PLE had incredible wrestling, but I think people want just a little bit more than that. But let's hear what these guys have to say. I don't know if Wrestle Dream is worth $50 though. Gotta be honest, man. Like All Out, even that, I don't think so. I liked Wrestle Dream more than All Out. All In, sure. It's like a big event. They go all out for it. Pun intended, I guess. I don't or they go all in for All In, I guess. But there was a 500K match, and then literally the next Dynamite, they're like 100K match with the Bucks in it, or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But I'll be honest, though. The Bucks and Jurassic Express had one of my favorite matches on the show up until like the last... They just went like 5 minutes too long. And Joe and Hangman, I mean, I think they're doing great stuff. Joe's always going to do great shit, though. I've been begging for him to be in the world title picture forever, and they have a rematch coming up, and hopefully Joe wins. I don't know if Tony's going to do it, but that'd be awesome if Joe won. Anyways, let's just hear their take on Wrestle Dream and why AEW is so worth the money that then was all refunded by fucking Amazon.
Stupid idiot.
And I don't mean to laugh, but it's just funny how it all blows up in Dave's face. Amazon, that's like a 30% increase. And then this pay-per-view, they had to give it all back, dude. And then
for looking at that show going like, there's going to be some good wrestling on it, but the feuds outside of Moxley and Darby didn't feel like there was a reason to have these big matches. But that's a pretty consistent pay-per-view audience. And I think that says a lot for the people who are buying these shows right now.
Well, I think one of the things is for AEW pay-per-views for their audience is, you know, this year, I mean, really this year, the shows they've delivered one great show after another. I mean,
disagree. I think this year for AEW has been their worst pay-per-views if you compare it. And why is that? Because it's all been done. They've had to get... Again, we make the joke, what is Darby going to pull a balloon out of his ass? I'm tired of saying it, but it's like they just keep every pay-per-view you go, oh, they're going to do some sicko shit to try and up the last sicko shit. And it's just become kind of cringe. The formatting's not that good. And I would say there's too many fucking matches and they go too long and they've been wonking around with the times. And I just think that if you compare like year 2 AEW, year 1 and 2 pay-per-views to this year, it's for surely behind year 1 and 2. You've been around for 6 years, so 1 and 2, it's definitely behind. 3, I mean, 3, it started to get, so like 3 and 4, you could argue, you know, if we're ranking shit here, but and it's all subjective. And if you want to see car crash mayhem, if you want to see the Rizzler in a match on the pre-show, and then you want to see somebody get a fucking pineapple shoved up their ass in the main event or whatever, sure, this is the great events, right? I even like the FTR spot where they were brawling through to the fucking into the pay-per-view. I actually like that. It's unique. You don't see it all the time. As long as you don't do it all the time, you haven't seen WWE do that. Now, again, I also defend people who hate on that because like Taco Bell commercials aren't popping up in the middle of WWE shows. If we're going to play What About WWE, it's like, so they, you know, if that happened to WWE, you'd be like, oh, just a random fuck up. You know, it doesn't happen all the time. You get a pass. With AEW, the feed cuts out and shit. We've gone over it. You don't get as big of a pass. I get why people would say it looked amateurish and shit, but I liked it, you know? But just to say like you get the best pay-per-views every year consistently, the best pay-per-views. I don't know. I think this year they've been like mostly forgettable, honestly.
You know, like the show, it's actually like I've never seen anything, even with, I guess maybe New Japan at its peak.
So when we're roasting,
you know, when they were from,
so he's saying it's better than peak New Japan, where you gave Okada Omega 7 stars and shit, bro. So when we read his star ratings for this event earlier, what did we say? Or if you're watching this in clip form, it's in another clip probably, okay? But I talked about this. So when I read the star ratings, I went, so was this the greatest wrestling show of all time? And we just all don't know about it. Like, come on, man. Dave is literally going, man, it's better than peak Nuge. Holy shit.
Whatever it was, 2015 to 2020.
He actually thinks
that period where the New Japan big shows were really, really good. But even with New Japan, I think the main events of New Japan were comparable to AEW, or at least close. But from start to finish, there were some cards at that level, but not
at that level. But like what the moves they did, Dave? I really need to know what he thinks.
Really,
I mean, obviously, that I don't know why I'm asking all the time.
Just the depth is
the depth of what of the fucking moves that the Young Bucks did that they do every single match, even on Dynamite. The depth of Will Ospreay will take a doomsday device, tope suicida, off someone's shoulders onto his neck on the floor on Collision. When Claudio threw the guy on the pay-per-view, but he also threw the guy on Collision and did the same spot after we already saw Obafemi over in WWE do the same spot. Like, what depth are you talking about? Oh, the fishbowl drowning. That's such depth, man. Oh, you mean Joe had a good psychology match that didn't go for too long with Hangman? And it was like the best match on the show? And it was like some shit you'd see in WWE? Maybe a little more strong style than that, maybe a little more kick outy than that, spotty than that, if you will. Now, Joe don't play. His matches are always good, but him just saying this is like the greatest card ever. Name one memorable thing other than the fishbowl. What's one thing that stands the test of time, even if you want to talk about garbage shit? Shane McMahon being thrown through the King of the Ring glass is memorable too. You know what I mean? Tell me about like what actually is anybody remembering other than the fishbowl thing? And you're talking like this was the greatest fucking card of all time. It's just delusional.
And I think that's probably what is keeping the pay-per-view strong. It's not keeping.
See, and Dave is like, it's not the promotion, the marketing, the pay-per-view still doing strong, even though Amazon just had to refund 30% of the buys apparently. Or the 30% extra buys they're getting because of Amazon or whatever Dave invented. But he has to invent that they're really strong when I just don't think they're that strong. I think he's just capping about that. I think it's around 100,000 buys. You can just narrow it down. Dave says it's way higher than that, so you can kind of lower it. We'll go with 100,000, and which is good. I mean, that's good for them. But shit that's happening on the show that we haven't seen yet is what's making people buy a ticket. But then Dave uses cope saying, well, WWE's marketing's way better and all this shit. So it's like, I don't know. It's just more kind of flip-floppy shit logistically with Dave. He applies one thing to one thing and then he won't apply it another.
The other number's strong, but it's keeping the pay-per-view.
We don't know the number. Like, what's the pay-per-view number?
Kind of know that, like, well, if you're someone who's going to pay $50, you're going to get your $50 worth based on just the fact you're going to get incredible wrestling. And the fact that I think that because
it's just the 100,000 people who watch Collision, even if it's on at 5 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday.
Month after month, year after year, they've been pretty consistent at that. They've been able to maintain a pretty loyal pay-per-view audience.
Just a loyal 100,000, Dave. Dave, it's just a loyal 100,000 people. Like, just admit that part.
Audience.
So moving along here, Bryan Alvarez questions whether a countout was the best way to set up a blood and guts match, which kind of hard to disagree with him there. I mean, so let's check out what he says.
So Kyle grabs Moxley, puts him in a guillotine, and suddenly the ref counts him out.
Yeah, double count out.
This fucking crowd is furious. They're chanting bullshit. They're so mad.
Yeah.
And the finish did suck. And
they don't do double countouts in AEW hardly ever.
Well, that's not even the issue. The issue is this.
They should fucking do some countouts in AEW.
Every promotion on the face of the earth, a countout is never going to work because everybody brawls on every show. Yeah. There's a brawl outside where they're out there for minutes on end and nobody gets counted out.
True that, man. Yeah, that's very true. I don't know, though, in WWE, like, they'll always, during the commercial breaks on Raw, like, they'll go out for a little bit, right? Because you're there working the live crowd and shit during that, or, like, the international audience or whatever, and you're just kind of killing time. But in WWE, I would say it's much less. Like you see the count out all the time. Maxine just counted out the fucking IC champ and shit like that. So like you do see it way more frequently. In AEW, it doesn't matter specifically. So when Brian's like every promotion, well, like bro, you don't even watch TNA and shit. So like I don't know, man. I just
So because it happens on every show, a count out makes no sense, because when you do a count out, you're trying to surprise people or whatever. And so the ref ends up counting faster than usual. And it's like the crowd sees it as they got screwed.
But based Brian and based Meltzer for it calling it out in AEW, but then they tried to say in every promotion, this isn't just AEW. Nah, it's more just AEW. Like
it should have been a double DQ with both sides running in, and then then.
Oh, did you text that to Tony?
Settle this is blood and guts. So I mean,
but then even him saying it should have been double DQ with both sides running in, Brian. Okay, they do that all the time too. That's the fucking problem. It's always just everyone running in AEW.
It's sort of the same thing.
It's like that on fucking Raw too. I'm sorry. Like every fucking show, it's just 10 million run-ins after every match and shit. But I mean, it's also wrestling. You're trying to heat shit up. You're trying to, have beef. At least in WWE, they'll cut to the back and give you like a storyline throughout the evening and stuff like that.
It would have been better because they ended up doing the run-ins anyway right after.
But exactly, Dave is kind of right there. Well, they did the run-ins anyway, Brian. Exactly, just have the run-ins. It's garbage.
Yes.
It's all garbage anyways.
Should have done that in the match.
Should have done that.
But like no one cares. That's the problem. They're right. Like who's even watching? I don't.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. Yeah, at least Dave being critical of it. But again, what I'm starting to notice, right? And again, this is why you guys come to PWT, because your boy Philly Phil points this shit out, right? So with Dave, man, he's starting to, these are the things when he gets bummed out and he gets upset with AEW stuff. And we've seen this before. We just didn't catch on. Maybe we did a little bit, but Dave gets bummed about some of these booking calls. It's because he's texting, I pushed for, he's admitted it. He's texting Tony Khan and pushing for, I mean, I said we should do this, but they chose not to do that. What do you mean they chose not? So that was a factor, So Dave is telling Tony, you should do this and that and shit. And then he gets bummed out. At least that's the story I'm sticking with. Prove me wrong, Dave.
So
Study
Kyle
and
grabs
learn me. Study and learn me. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. I have nothing to say at the end. It all speaks for itself. Based Meltzer's dumb moment of the week, maybe actually this week. Some base takes. A couple base takes.